Well, 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 well. Hello, hello, hello. Shaun here with the slicked back hair, fresh shower. Hell yeah. Today we're going to be talking about 1997's mystery thriller, The Game.
What do you get for the man who has everything? Everything.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Maggie.
I don't like her. So what brings you to town, Conrad? Everything all right?
October 12th. Nikki's birthday.
This is for you. Consumer Recreation Services.
Call that number.
Why?
They make your life fun.
The film is directed by David Fincher, written by John Brocato and Michael Ferris. It stars Michael Douglas, Deborah Kara Unger, Sean Penn, Peter Donat, James Rebhorn, Carol Baker, Armin Mueller-Stahl, and others. The logline plot synopsis is, after a wealthy banker is given an opportunity to participate in a mysterious game, his life is turned upside down when he becomes unable to distinguish between the game and reality.
Mr. Van Orton, is everything all right?
Right now, I am extremely dangerous.
You're behind the whole thing, aren't you? No! They make your life fun.
So, yeah, a little background. I think I've probably mentioned this before, talking about other movies or other David Fincher movies. There's an old Zoobox Goes to the Movies where my friend Big Paul and I, we talk all about Fight Club, 1999's Fight Club, which was his follow-up to The Game. This was his third feature film. He had done Alien 3, he had done 7, and then this one, The Game. And this, in a lot of ways, is definitely a successor to something like 7. Definitely kind of feels in the same vein. He's still working in the thriller genre. But it's kind of cool in this one. It kind of showed his restraint at a very early age as a director. Well, early in his filmography. You know, he was mostly a music video director. But it showed that he could do restraint and he could do tension without bombast, without needing to be provocative in a more visceral way. This is definitely in the realm of the psychological thriller. And that is kind of what pulls you through the story, is the psychological dilemma of Michael Douglas's character, Nick Van Orton.
Is this thing in?
The rich bitch, the rich asshole that is taking everything for granted, and all he cares about is the stock, everybody. But yeah, I have my personal history with the movie is I saw this really, really young. I saw it probably in 1997. I think my dad just like rented it from the local movie rental place, the little corner store by our house, and you know, we watched it. And then soon after that, because I was buying VHSs and stuff, I owned a copy of The Game, and I would watch The Game all the time as like a 12-year-old boy. It doesn't really make much sense, but that's what it was. And I just really enjoyed just the mystery aspect, the tone of the movie, the way that the score is utilized, kind of the slow burn quality of it. I've always really liked that. Because especially, you know, the older you get, the more convoluted and contrived and absolutely ridiculous, like the central mystery is. Like what this whole project, the CRS project, and what they do as a company is completely ludicrous. And it's not even just that the company is ludicrous and the concept is ludicrous. It's the things that they have to put in place for their plan to work has to be like such like magical happenstance stuff. You know, like for instance, there's a scene where they give him a pen.
Initials, and sign there in blood. Just kidding. All right, now your copy will be at the front desk in this folder. And we'll keep the pen. We'll let you know.
So that the pen will leak. Even though he goes home that night and he changes clothes, who's to say he still would have had the same pen? You know, just stupid things like that. But those things, those instances, drive the plot forward. So it's kind of hard not to at least acknowledge or recognize that you're like, oh, well, that's kind of just silly. It's kind of stupid. But beyond all that, I think like that kind of stuff, it is what it is, and either you're going to be able to just accept it and move on and enjoy the rest of the movie, or you're not, or it's really going to drive you crazy. But the thing that I think that works like gangbusters in this movie is just the emotional core. It's very subtle, and it's a very kind of slow turn for Michael Douglas's character, and kind of coming to terms with his past trauma. You know, as a young child, he had seen his father basically commit suicide. And that's kind of what's framed his entire life. It's what's turned him into the person that he is. He doesn't want to get too close to anyone. He's impersonal about everything, even with his own brother, played by Shaun Penn, who sets up this meeting for him.
This is for you. You shouldn't have. What do you get for the man who has everything?
Consumer Recreation Services. Well, I do have golf clubs.
Call that number.
Why?
They make your life fun.
Fun.
You know what that is? You've seen other people have. It's an entertainment service.
An escort service?
A profound life experience.
He's like, it's Conrad's like, it's going to change your life, buddy. This is the new way. This is how rich people get over their problems. They spend exorbitant amounts of money to have giant, what do you call them? Scavenger hunts throughout their personal lives. Personal excavation scavenger hunt. But a lot of it really does work. It works really well. And just to see like the slow kind of deconstruction of his character as he is pushed further and further to like the limits of his like psychological control, what he's able to handle as like a man. Especially once you get kind of into the last act leading up to the final kind of confrontation, the big moments. He gets dropped off in Mexico with no identification, no money, just like left in a coffin above ground. Okay. Now he wasn't buried alive, but an above ground coffin in the middle of a graveyard, just like having to try to find his way. And then he kind of is confronted with the dispassionate nature that he has shown other people. Because he's just like looking for a little bit of help, just a reprieve, just something. Like somebody could buy me a bus ticket, just help me to get home. He goes to the embassy. I'm an American citizen. The guy at the embassy is a complete piece of shit.
Some things have happened, and it's important that...
What happened to you?
Where to begin? It's complicated.
It always is.
I was on holiday alone, and I was robbed by two men.
Robbed? In what hotel were you staying at?
I don't remember.
Have you gone to the police?
I don't speak Spanish. And I just need enough to get out of here.
He's just like, well, have you talked to the police? Et cetera, et cetera. Because the guy at the embassy is like, oh, this is like some fuck boy, maybe down here fucking prostitutes or something. Something went wrong and he's embarrassed about it. But there's a scene that illustrates kind of his, and it does it, and it's a humorous moment, but it does it in a way that kind of reflects and parallels what I'm just talking about, like the more extreme versions that he experiences. There's a dude in a toilet and in a stall, and he needs toilet paper.
Can you help me out? I need some toilet paper. I ran out. Just go into the next stall. Come on, help me out. Hello? Hello?
And Michael Douglas just like looks at the dude like begging for toilet paper. He's got his hand underneath the stall. He's like, please, help me out, help your brother out. And Michael Douglas is just like, yuck, and he just like steps over him and leaves the bathroom. And it's a humorous moment, but it illustrates what I'm talking about, like about him having to confront his own nature. Because even in something as simple and basic and humane as giving a dude some fucking toilet paper, he can't do it. He has no interest in doing it. He's above it. He's above it. He thinks he's above it. And then towards the end of the movie, they have the big finale where Michael Douglas is basically led to jump off a roof.
Oh, God.
Which is also, it's ridiculous. Like, the whole setup for it's ridiculous. The idea that he's actually going to jump off the roof and commit suicide, it's very contrived. Like, it's almost like allegorical. Like, you almost, like, it's so contrived, like, you almost can't take it literally. And that's why I'm saying, like, you kind of have to just grasp onto the psychological journey, because that is the psychological catharsis. That's the emotional catharsis, is having him confront his past to a degree, feel that rock bottom place where his father was, where his father felt like such a fucking abject failure that he jumped off the roof of his house in front of God and all creation and his family. So he has to feel that way to be able to move past it, because he has to be able to understand it. If you don't understand those kinds of things, you can't move forward. And that's what happens to his character. So emotionally, that's what it's built into the story. And there's so many great moments in the movie. Like, there's this great moment because Michael Douglas is really fantastic in this movie. It's very much in the vein of what he had done in the late 80s and early 90s, kind of working in the erotic thriller genre. What do you do? Like Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct, Full Disclosure. I'm sure there's a few others in there that I'm forgetting, but he was this kind of guy. And he mixed that with his Richard Grieco character from Wall Street, kind of, which I have the slick back homage to right now. Like, he's kind of a mixture of those guys. So it's very interesting to see Michael Douglas, in a way, kind of confront the types of men that he has made his career playing and almost like extolling the virtues of, So it's kind of it's got this interesting meta layer going on to it. Like, and I'm sure it's something Fincher probably was, at the very least, had some awareness of how that would play to an audience, because it certainly played that way to me. Maybe I could be in the minority in that. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody ever discuss that like this in the context of Douglas's career at the time. I suppose it'd be something that's much easier to do now than it was at the time. Yeah, but there's so many great line readings and moments. It has one of my favorite, like, just kind of non sequitur. Like, well, I use it in a non sequitur way, just kind of out of thin air, random movie quotes.
You can have pictures of me wearing nipple rings, butt fucking Captain Kangaroo. The only thing they care about is the stock.
I like to just yell that at people. Like, when people confront me, they get angry with me, and I'll be like, I don't care if you have pictures of me, but fucking Captain Kangaroo, I don't care. I got that from old Michael Douglas in The Game. Yeah, what else is there to say? I think everybody's really good in the movie. Like I said, Deborah Kerr Unger, she gives a great performance, great supporting performance. As kind of the anti-femme fatale.
Yeah.
Are you an athlete or something?
No, I'm an investment banker. I move money from one place to another.
Actually, would you mind if I just quickly rinsed off?
No?
Because it is kind of set up almost in this noir mystery kind of way. And the setups and stuff like that feel very old Hollywood, old storytelling, old 1940s mystery stuff. And there's a kitschy kind of fun to that. And I think everybody kind of plays into it pretty well. And I think, like I said, I think Fincher really understood that. This is the thing I really like about Fincher, is that basically he makes elevated trash. He makes very trashy movies and executes them perfectly. The one exception I would say, which still has it's couched in exploitation, is Zodiac. Zodiac is a masterpiece that could stand next to any other masterpiece and should be able to keep company with, just the likes of, I don't know, Citizen Kane or something like that. just to name a random one. Ghostbusters stands right next to Ghostbusters. No, it's just a perfectly executed movie. It's a fantastic film. The game doesn't reach those heights, obviously, but it is one of these solid Fincher B movies that he's so good at doing. I've probably said it before on a podcast or maybe another movie review, but like his movie Gone Girl, which is a favorite of mine. It's what it is a Lifetime original movie executed perfectly, executed flawlessly with great actors and a great director and a great script and a great tone. But it is one of those. That's exactly the kind of story that you would see on a Lifetime original movie. I grew up watching them. I would know. Trust me. Trust me, my mom used to watch Lifetime all the time. It was assault stories and domestic abuse stories, and then episodes of Unsolved Mysteries. That's how I grew up. That's probably why I was 12 years old, watching The Game all the time. Because stuff like that, my parents used to be like, "Oh, are you a little weird or something?" Well, it's your fault, Mom. It's your fault, Dad. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. But yeah, like I said, The Game, super worth revisiting if you haven't watched it in a long time. I actually picked up, during the Criterion sale, I picked up the Criterion disc of it. I picked up the Criterion disc of it. It is also currently on Netflix. If you have American Netflix or a VPN, you can get it there. I would say this, though, just a quick note about the Criterion edition here. One of the laziest Criterions I've ever purchased. I don't know what it is. And this is not a newer one. I think this came out in 2012. Yeah, 2012. This version of The Game came out. It's got not a great transfer. Most of the vast majority of the special features were on the DVD that I also owned as a child. Because I have the VHS and I had to bump up to the DVD at some point. But yeah, I have the VHS and then the DVD. But the commentary and I think most of the special features, other than there's some storyboard comparison stuff that's on here, that's it's marginally interesting. But yeah, I was really disappointed. Criterion, if they're gonna do one though, they really got to do Zodiac. And if they do Zodiac and they just port over the fucking features from the Blu-ray I already own, I'd be so fucking irritated, guys. I'd be so mad. Can you tell? I'd be furious. I'd be fucking furious, man. I'd be fucking furious, dude. But anyways, yeah, go watch The Game. Have you ever seen The Game? Is it a favorite of yours? Do you not like it? Do you hate it? I could see people hating this movie because of how fucking contrived some of the plot is. And I couldn't even fault you. I couldn't be like, "Oh, no, you just don't understand." No, you clearly do understand. It's just not good. That aspect of the movie is a little much. But like I said, if you kind of go into it looking for more of an allegory, more of this character's personal journey, I think it nails it on that end. And I think it's something worthwhile, worth your time, worth your investigation. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye.